there, my name is Gina Coates and I'm a tour manager and accountant. I'm going to go through my budget template with you and hopefully it will be clear and this will help you in your further studies or career. I'm just going to share my screen with you where I have the template. So it has 4 tabs: projected income, projected budget, actual income, actual budget, which I will go through one by one. So following on from the cash float talk that I did, I still have the same title, so artist budget dates. I worked on this sheet today, so I have dated it the 28th of January. So the first tab, projected income. This is essentially a list of all the show guarantees for the tour. It's a straightforward table. You will input the date of the show, the city of the show, the venue, the guarantee, and this will give you an overall tour income. As you can see, on this tour, there are 6 shows with an income of 600, which gives a tour income, a projected tour income of 600. These 2 rows I've greyed out because they may not be of use to you at this moment in time, but it's useful to have them on the template. Agent commission, so usually agents will commission on your fee, let's say 10%. If we pop in 10% there, it will automatically calculate the 10% and take it off the projected budget income. Management, some management, usually in the US, will take a commission on the gross income of the tour rather than of actual tour profits. So let's say, for example, they're going to take 15% of your overall gross tour income. That will automatically calculate and update this figure here. I'm going to set them to 0, not so that we don't confuse things. So onwards to the next tab, which is projected budgets, which is a list of all projected costs for the tour. As per usual, the same subject titles up here. Now I have listed number of days of the tour, number of shows of the tour, number in the band party, number in the crew party. This is essentially to help you factor out costs, etc. And then we go into the actual different subjects of costs. So section 1, musician wages. This is essentially if you have session musicians, which when you first start out, it will be very rare. So we'll ignore that for the moment. Let's go on to crew wages. As we've mentioned, we're going to have 2 crew on this tour. So the tour manager, who's going to do front of house as well, let's say they're going to earn £1,000 for the whole tour. I would put that in as just a one-off charge of 1,000 with 1 day. Now the backline tech, they're going to work for £100 a day that they're away from home. So the number of days of the tour is 8. So their rate is 108 will go in here because that's number of days. So this multiplies and gives you the total of that row, and this here gives you the total of that section. So you can easily look up and see that crew wages for the tour is going to be £1,800. I've set this up, I mean, this is just the standard crew for, say, an academy level tour of about 2,000 capacity, but you can always update things if you wish. Going on, next we have travel. So the categories we have are that I've put in, which you can of course change if you so wish. Splitter bus. So you're going to be on tour on a splitter bus. This is going to cost £80 per day, so 80 in the daily rate, and you're going to need that for 8 days, as that's how many days you're away from home on tour. Next, we will go on to fuel. You can calculate either by mileage once you've done the routing, or you can just put in a fixed amount per day. I'm going to put in £40 per day and 8 days that you're away. Also, something that's quite important to note that I've put in is parking and tolls. A lot of venues don't have parking, so you would have to pay to park your vehicle on the street. And even if it does have parking, if you're a support act or if there's more than one gig on at the venue, you may not get parking anyway. So it's best to put this amount into the budget, because it's always better to have something in there and take it out at the end rather than vice versa. So let's say parking, we're going to put in, we're in a splitter, let's put in £20 a day. Also, you need to think about the fact that hotels may not have secure parking. And if you are in a splitter, you are going to want your equipment to be safe overnight. Also, here's another couple of categories. Tour party from the to and from the start of tour. Somebody might have a heavy amp, so they need to get a taxi. Same for miscellaneous travel. That amp may break down. So let's put in a little bit in here, just in case something unexpected comes up. And then onwards, hotels is the next section. So essentially work out how many hotel rooms you need per night and what your budget is. So let's say, so we need, we're not going to share hotel rooms on this tour, so we need 6 rooms, but we are going on a economical budget, so we're going to say £30 for each room. So 6 times 30, 180. So every single night that you need a hotel, it's going to cost you 180 for the whole tour. Let's say you can drive home a couple of nights, so we're only going to need hotels for 4 nights. That will automatically calculate that section total. Next is per diems. It's highly likely you won't have this on your first own self-touring, but as you go on, you may encounter them. So essentially a payment so that you can exist away from home. This is meant to cover food, essentially. So for every night that you're away from home, you should get a per diem. I pay them on all days, apart from if you're going to be home for dinner on your final travel day. So let's say that you're going to get back at, I don't know, midday on the final travel day. So on this tour, we're going to pay per diems at £10 a day, and there are 6 of you on tour, so that's £60 per day, 7 days. Now, £10 is quite low. I would say standard at the very least nowadays is £15, going up to way more if you're on a stadium tour. Okay, transport. I've put this in just so that you can utilise this section in the future, but I don't think you will need to worry about this right now. Backline transport. You may not be able to get your bus and trailer near the venue, or the bus driver may need to have a break. So you might need to hire a transit to cross-load your backline. Same with excess baggage. You may be flying to a gig and you're going to carry some of your equipment, so you can put that in as well. Production. So production, if you are hiring any equipment, so PA and hire, lighting hire, it's very rare that you would have this on your first few tours. So let's start with maybe backline hire. You have to borrow an amp. Yours isn't going to kind of cut it because it's quite old and very temperamental. Your options here, you could ask the other bands on the bill if they have an amp you can hire, or even the venue. So, very rare in the UK, but in Europe and the US, they do have backline. So, you know, we're going to actually hope, we're not going to put any in because we think we can do this. Backline consumables, these are things like strings that you may break or batteries for your equipment. I think it's always good to have a little bit in. So let's say we're going to put £10 in per show. So 6 shows, that gives us a budget there. Accounting and legal, you won't need to think about this at the start, but at some point it is worth putting in an amount for accountancy fees, carnet and visas. Well, we still don't know what's happening with Brexit, so this may be something that you actually have to deal with when you first head into Europe or even go into Dublin. So with regards to the carnet, this should be a one-off amount, and also visas will be per country. Insurance. When your income is low, I wouldn't necessarily think about worrying with cancellation fees. Public liability is always quite a good thing to have to stop you being sued, just in case you accidentally fall off the stage and crush someone. But if you're careful, it's not a necessity. I would say it's good to think about travel insurance and equipment insurance. Things do happen, your flight may be cancelled, so you have to find an alternate route, or the show may be cancelled. Equipment, if you have a £3,000 guitar that gets stolen, you're going to wish you had equipment insurance. These are generally annual policies, so however much it costs per year, I would divide that down per tour. If you don't know that, then do it per month. On to communication. This is mainly for the tour manager, and if they are using their phone or the internet, their data a lot. This is mainly for international tours. Nowadays you get good price plans in the UK. Sundries, anything else we haven't listed above that may be a cost. Stationery, on larger tours, laminates, itineraries. If you have stage costumes, that would be wardrobe and also laundry. Gratuities, if you're asking the bellhop at the hotel to carry all your equipment, then tipping them would be a nice thing. Miscellaneous, it's worth putting a small amount for something that isn't in the categories. Again, this could be an amp repair or catering. You've decided that, you know, you can't eat that day. It's a busy day, so you're going to get pizzas after the show. So this will give you your total budget costs. This is how much you think it's going to cost to do your 8-day, 6-date tour. Below, I think on a smaller tour, you wouldn't need to worry about this, but I put in a contingency of the total budget costs as a percentage. This is for anything that comes up that really is out of the ordinary. This could be, this varies the percentage on whether, you know your tour and you think everything will be fine, or it's very flexible and the artist maybe gets into trouble. I would normally put 5% in. This could go up to 30%. It automatically calculates this and again adds it here. Okay, so let's put that to 0. And so we've got your total budgeted costs. This is 4,250 against your income of 600. This is going to give you a tour loss of 3,650. This is the figure that you really want to pay attention to. Now, say you're on a bigger tour, we're going to go back and update this to, you're going to earn £750 per night. You're on a really good support tour. We go back, that automatically updates here. And then you're actually making a tour profit of £250. Excellent. So I've also added a couple of sheets for actual income and actual budget to help you reconcile post-tour. So actual income, you would, this has your show guarantees, and so you fill it in exactly the same as your projected income sheet. And then now, if you've done well, you break percentage. So these shows may do really well. So say you make £1,000 on every other, on the first few shows, and then you make £1,000 percentage break at the end. This increases your show income to 4,600. This is the final amount. I tend to, once it's confirmed, bold, so you know where you are, you know what paperwork you've received, etc., etc. If you're in Europe, I would also add a column for withholding taxes. Not just Europe, everywhere internationally, it's very rare that you don't have some sort of tax on your fee. And then this would automatically, if you set it up correctly, change this figure. So then we go to the actual budget rather than your projected budget. What I would do is take all the figures in your projected budget in this column, in the totals column, and add them into the estimates column. This is so that everything is essentially the same at the starting point before you start finalising costs. Now, when I finalise a cost, rather than it being an estimated cost, remember the tour manager is £1,000. So because you haven't had the final invoice, I would keep it as an estimate here. Now, when you finally get the invoice, you approve it and forward it on to the accountants to pay. I would then put the actual in this column and then delete the estimate £1,000, so that you're always kind of on a par, you know what has been paid and what is still to come up. Helps you also with seeing who you need to chase to get the invoices. So right at the very bottom, you will get your final actual tour profit and loss. This will tell you what you have made or lost, unfortunately. Hopefully it's always going to be profit. I hope that was self-explanatory, and good luck with your future touring when we all come back. Thank you.